Sarah Chun stood in the living room of their Phoenix apartment, her hands shaking. No jacket, just an old t-shirt and worn jeans. Her canvas shoes were still damp from stepping outside to check the mailbox earlier. The unopened envelope sat on the kitchen counter. Tom Chun, her husband of 9 years, stood across from her. His face was red, his voice loud enough to echo through the thin walls. "I'm done, Sarah," he shouted. "I've carried this relationship long enough. I pay the rent, I buy the groceries, while you just exist here." Sarah stared at him in shock. "Exist? I quit my job as a graphic designer to care for your father for 2 years, Tom. 2 years. I cooked every meal, managed his medications, stayed up nights when he couldn't sleep. I was there every single day when you couldn't be." "Yeah, and now he's gone," Tom snapped coldly. "So what exactly are you contributing now? You're just taking up space. I can't afford to support someone who does nothing." Sarah's throat tightened. "Taking up space? Is that really how you see me? After everything?" Tom paced to the window, constantly glancing at his phone on the counter as if expecting a message. "Look, you've had it easy long enough," he said flatly. "Time you learn to stand on your own feet. I'm not your ATM, Sarah." Her stomach dropped. Something about his behavior felt off, rehearsed even. She looked at the phone he kept checking. "Who's texting you?" she asked quietly. "Is someone else involved in this?" Tom didn't answer. He grabbed the phone and shoved it in his pocket. "Don't change the subject." Sarah stepped forward. "Let me see it." "You're not touching my phone," he said sharply. "Let me see it." Her voice cracked. For a moment, he stood frozen, jaw clenched. Then he laughed, a short, cruel sound. "Fine. You want to see?" He pulled the phone back out and tossed it toward her. She caught it. The screen was still lit, showing a message thread. Her hands trembled as she read. "Amy, can't wait to see you tonight. I missed you. Tom, soon, babe." She's still here, but not for long. Sarah's vision blurred. She scrolled up, seeing months of messages, photos, sweet names, plans they'd made behind her back. 6 months of betrayal laid out in her hands. When she finally looked up, Tom didn't even look ashamed. "You've been seeing her," she whispered. "Yeah." He shrugged like it meant nothing. "She doesn't nag. She's fun. She makes me feel like I matter." Sarah felt her knees weaken. "You're ending our marriage for her? I'm ending it because I'm done. You've become miserable, always tired, always complaining. Amy makes me feel alive." The words hit like physical blows. Tom walked to the closet and started throwing her clothes into a pile. Shirts, jeans, jackets, everything landing in a heap by the door. "Tom, stop. You don't have to do this," she pleaded. "Oh, I do," he said, grabbing her shoes and tossing them onto the pile. "I'm not wasting another day on this." When the closet was empty, he went to the dresser and dumped her belongings into a duffel bag. He shoved it toward her, then walked to his wallet. He pulled out a single $50 bill and threw it at her feet. "There," he said with dripping sarcasm. "Start your new life. That's about what you're worth." The bill landed on the floor near the door. Sarah stared at it, her chest aching. She bent down slowly, picked up the bill, and shoved it into her pocket. Without looking at him, she grabbed the duffel bag and walked out into the desert night. The dry heat hit her face. Behind her, the door slammed shut. She walked without direction, her bag dragging on the pavement. By the time she reached a convenience store, it was almost midnight. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Inside, she bought a bottle of water and asked about nearby motels. The clerk pointed across the street to a budget lodge. She crossed over and checked in, spending $35 of her $50. The room was small with faded curtains and a threadbare bedspread. She sat on the bed, staring at the remaining $15 in her palm. For a long time, she sat in silence, listening to the hum of the old air conditioner. She didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but one thing was certain. She was never going back to that apartment or to him. Not ever. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Share where you're watching from in the comments below. Your support helps us share stories of hope and resilience. Don't miss what happens next. Morning came slowly, the Phoenix sun already hot by 7 a.m. Sarah woke on the rough motel sheets, her face stiff from dried tears. For a second, she forgot where she was. Then she saw the faded curtains and remembered everything. She checked her phone. No messages from Tom. No apologies. Just silence. Her stomach growled. She opened her palm and looked at the money left. $15. That was all she had. She could stretch $10 if she skipped meals. $5 could buy instant noodles. She could call her sister in California and ask to crash on the couch, but pride stopped her. Not yet. Not like this. She washed her face in the small bathroom sink and looked at herself in the cracked mirror. You'll be okay, she told her reflection. You have to be. The motel coffee was free. It tasted terrible, but it warmed her hands. She walked back to the convenience store. Inside, the same clerk from last night looked up. His name tag said Dave. Hot day coming, he said gently. Yeah, she tried to sound casual. Do you sell cup noodles? Aisle 3. She grabbed 2 cups, some crackers, and a cheap toothbrush. Standing in line, she saw the lottery ticket display. Bright colors, big numbers, big dreams. She'd never played. Her mother used to call it a tax on desperate people. But then Tom's voice echoed in her head. That's about what you're worth. A thought burned through her mind. Make that $50 mean something. Is the Powerball still open? She asked. Dave nodded. Drawings Wednesday. Jackpot's big this week. How big? 10 million. 10 million. The number felt impossible. 10 million meant never asking for help again. 10 million meant never hearing dead weight again. She picked up the play slip and stared at it. Choose 5 numbers and 1 Powerball. Her mind went blank, then focused. She wrote 08 for August, the month she and Tom got married. 15 for the day. 21 because she was 21 when they met. 34 for their apartment number. Her hand hovered over the last number. She thought of the 2 years she'd spent caring for his father. 02. For the Powerball, she picked 17. It felt right. Dave printed the ticket. The paper felt thin and fragile, like it could blow away. She put it in her wallet where a photo of her and Tom used to be. Back at the motel, she ate noodles and tried to make a plan. She needed a job. She had experience in graphic design, project management, client relations. She could do this. She opened her old laptop and started sending applications. Careful cover letters, professional emails. She pressed send and imagined them flying somewhere better. 2 days passed slowly. She stretched her money by skipping meals. She cleaned the motel room like it was a home. She lined up her few belongings with care. Wednesday night came. The motel TV flickered as she turned it to the local news channel. She pulled the ticket from her wallet and smoothed it on the bed. The lottery drawing started. Her hands went cold. The first white ball appeared. 8, the announcer said. Sarah stared. Her eyes jumped to the ticket. 8. Her chest tightened. Okay, she whispered. That's 1. The second ball, 15. Her fingers gripped the paper. 15. She stopped breathing. The third ball, 21. She laughed, a shocked, scared sound, then covered her mouth. 21. 3 numbers. This doesn't happen to people like her. 34. She stood up without meaning to. The bed creaked. 34. Her knees felt weak. She grabbed the chair to steady herself. 2. She whispered along with the announcer. 2. 5 for 5. Her ears rang. The room blurred. The red Powerball appeared on screen. It spun and rolled. 17. She closed her eyes. Opened them. The screen still said 17. Silence flooded her mind. No TV noise, no air conditioner rattle, just the feeling of the floor falling away and a whole new world underneath. She checked the ticket again, tracing each number with her finger. 08-15-21-34-02 and 17. She checked the screen. She checked the ticket. She pinched her arm hard enough to leave a mark. Then she laughed, wild and breathless. Then she cried. $10 million. After taxes, it would be less, but it would still be more money than she'd ever imagined. More than her entire family had ever seen at once. She grabbed her phone and searched Arizona lottery claim process. Sign it back. Don't share photos online. Secure it safely. Consider a lawyer before claiming. She found a pen and signed the back with shaking hands. She slipped the ticket into an envelope, then into a plastic bag, then into another envelope. She tucked it into her bra under her shirt because there was nowhere safer. She barely slept. Every hour, she woke to touch the envelope, to check the lock, to look at the clock. Morning came bright and harsh. At 9 a.m., she walked to a nearby bank and rented a small safe deposit box. She slipped the envelope inside and shut the metal door. In the lobby, her legs went weak with relief. She sat on a bench and let the reality sink in. How do you change your whole life without letting it change who you are? The first call Sarah made was to a law office she found online with excellent reviews. "I need advice on claiming a lottery prize," she said, trying to sound confident. "Of course," the receptionist replied calmly. "We can schedule a consultation this afternoon." At 3 p.m., she sat in a clean office that smelled like paper and coffee. Attorney Linda Martinez had kind eyes and a professional demeanor. She listened without interrupting as Sarah told the whole story, from a fight to the numbers to the ticket in the safe deposit box. "When did your husband ask you to leave?" Linda asked, pen ready. "Monday night. He threw me out. The ticket was purchased Tuesday morning." Linda nodded, a small satisfied motion. "So you were separated before the purchase. That matters legally." Relief washed through Sarah. "Is it wrong that I'm glad it happened this way?" "It's not wrong to protect yourself," Linda said. "We'll handle the claim carefully. You can remain anonymous through a trust. We'll set up a new P.O. box, get a new phone number, no social media posts, no flashy purchases for a while. Move quietly. Understand?" "Yes," Sarah said firmly. They discussed taxes, lump sum versus annuity, risks, and plans. Sarah took notes like her life depended on it, because it did. At the end, Linda leaned forward. "One more thing. I need you to think about safety. Money brings out people you didn't know existed." Sarah understood. She saw Tom's face in her mind, that smirk when he thought he was winning. "I won't tell him," she said. "I won't tell anyone." "Good," Linda stood. "We'll file the claim Friday." On her way back, Sarah stopped at a small diner and ordered a real meal, a burger, fries, and iced tea. For the first time in days, food tasted like something. Her phone buzzed. Tom's number. Her stomach turned. She let it ring, watched the screen go dark, and set the phone face down. It buzzed again, then again. A voicemail appeared. She didn't listen. Back at the motel, she found a note under her door. "Sarah, heard something. Call me. Jen." Jen was a mutual friend who worked at a local coffee shop. Sarah stared at the note. Heard what? That she was out? That Tom threw her out? Or, and this thought ran cold, had someone whispered about the lottery? She locked the door and put the chain on. She sat on the bed and made herself breathe slowly. That night, she made a list. File claim with Linda on Friday. Open new bank account at different bank. Get P.O. box. Buy prepaid phone with new number. Look at apartments, nothing flashy. Donate to women's shelter soon. Write letter to herself about who she is and who she won't become. She set the pen down and smiled. Then she whispered it out loud like a prayer. 10 million. Friday came with clear blue skies. Sarah met Linda downtown. They signed papers and set up a trust called Desert Rose Trust, a calm name that meant nothing to anyone. The lottery office processed her paperwork. No photo, no giant check, just signatures and forms. Remember, Linda said afterward, you're invisible for now. New number, new P.O. box, no social media. Don't tell anyone who doesn't need to know. I won't, Sarah promised. She bought a basic prepaid phone and gave the number only to Linda in the bank. She moved out of the motel into a small one-bedroom apartment on the quiet side of town. The building was stucco and palm trees, with a pool that smelled like chlorine and sunshine. She paid 6 months' rent through the trust. For the first week, she took the bus everywhere. On day 8, Linda cleared her to buy a used car, a simple beige sedan with some scratches and a reliable engine. Nobody looked twice at it. She cooked simple meals. She slept better. She took long showers and let herself cry until she felt calm again. She sent a small anonymous donation to a local women's shelter, then signed up to volunteer using only her first name. On a Saturday, she stood in the shelter's kitchen chopping vegetables with other volunteers. A radio played softly. A little girl at a corner table colored a picture of a cat. You okay? A volunteer named Maria asked gently. Yeah, Sarah said. I am. And she was. Not perfect, not healed, but okay in a real way. Good luck never arrives alone. It brings attention. It brings danger. Late one afternoon, Sarah's new phone buzzed. Linda's name appeared. "We may have a problem," Linda said, voice steady but serious. A local news station ran a story. Mystery Desert Rose Trust claims lottery jackpot. They mentioned a winner who stayed at Budget Lodge before the drawing. They didn't name you, but information is leaking. Sarah's mouth went dry. The motel. Yes. Only a few people could know that detail. The clerk, housekeeping, or the store cashier who sold the ticket. Or someone who knew someone. Gossip travels fast. What do I do? Nothing different. Stay low. Don't confirm anything. If anyone asks, tell them you don't discuss rumors. And Sarah, if Tom calls, do not answer. I won't. That night, Sarah pulled into her apartment parking lot and froze. A black pickup truck idled at the curb. The driver's window rolled down. Tom leaned out and smiled like they were old friends. "Hey, Sarah." Her first instinct was to run. Her second was to stand her ground. She chose the second. She parked and stepped out, locking her car with a beep. "What do you want?" she asked evenly. He got out too, wearing a new button-down shirt and expensive-looking boots. "I just want to talk," he said, hands spread wide. "We had a rough patch. Emotions, you know. Throwing me out was not a rough patch. It was cruel." He winced quickly, then smoothed it over. "Come on, don't use words like that. I was stressed. Dad had just died. I said things I didn't mean. You told me I was worthless. You threw $50 at me like I was garbage." He laughed sharply. $50? That's dramatic. I gave you cash to help you out. Anyway, it worked out great for you, didn't it? She went still. He was fishing. He didn't know, for sure. "What are you talking about?" she asked carefully. He gestured toward her building. "Nice place. New car. Desert Rose Trust. Cute name. You never were good at keeping secrets." Her stomach dropped, but she stayed calm. He didn't know, for certain. He wanted her to confirm it. "I don't know what you're trying to pull," she said, "but we're done, Tom. You made that choice." He stepped closer. She fought the urge to step back. "Look," he said, softening his voice like an actor reading lines. "I've had time to think. Amy, she wasn't what I thought. She used me. I messed up. But we're married, Sarah. We built a life. And if something good came your way, that's ours. That's marital property. Half and half." She almost laughed at how transparent he was. "We were separated before the drawing," she said firmly. "Before anything happened. You told me to leave. You made it clear in your texts." He blinked. She could see him calculating. "So you admit it?" "I admit nothing," she said. "I admit you're getting nothing from me." His face changed. The nice mask fell away. "You think you can cut me out?" he hissed. "After everything I did for you? I paid the bills. I put a roof over your head. You cheated on me for 6 months," she said steadily. "I know how I found out. Your phone lit up. Soon, babe. She's still here, but not for long. You planned to replace me while I was caring for your dying father." He flinched. Then he smiled again. All teeth, no warmth. "You're upset. I get it. But this is bigger than feelings. My lawyer will be in touch." He handed her a white business card. She didn't look at it. "I have a lawyer too," she said. He glanced at her car, her building, her hands. He wanted to see fear. He didn't find any. "You'll regret this," he said, dropping the smile. "I'll see you in court." He got back in the truck and drove away too fast. She stood there until his taillights disappeared, then walked upstairs and locked her door. Her hands finally shook. She let them. She photographed the business card and texted it to Linda. "He found me. Says he'll sue." Linda called immediately. "Are you safe?" "Yes." "Good. Listen carefully. He's bluffing about the law, but he'll make noise. Arizona is equitable distribution, not community property. We have the separation date, his threatening texts, and proof of the affair. You're protected." "I don't want him near me," Sarah said, her voice small. "We'll file a protection order if he escalates. For now, document everything. No contact. If he shows up again, call the police first, then me." "Okay. And Sarah? The facts are on your side." Tom filed his lawsuit within a week. A process server knocked at Sarah's door at noon. The woman handed her a manila envelope and left. Inside, complaint for equitable distribution and marital assets. Words like marital share, unjust enrichment, and constructive trust covered the pages. Attached were social media screenshots, a grainy photo of her car, and old text messages he claimed proved he'd supported her. Sarah drove straight to Linda's office. "He's throwing everything at the wall, hoping something sticks," Linda said, spreading the papers across a table. "We'll respond to each point. Then we file our own evidence, the separation timeline, the affair messages, his threatening texts. We'll add witness statements about his behavior. We include the $50 bill because the judge will understand what it symbolizes." "Do judges care about symbolism?" Sarah asked. "They care about facts," Linda said. "But judges are human. They understand what it means when a man throws his wife out with a crumpled bill and calls her worthless." Sarah signed documents, initialed pages, and provided a detailed timeline she'd carefully prepared. Linda smiled. "You're the best kind of client, organized and thorough." The weeks became a rhythm of depositions, forms, and quiet evenings alone. Sarah found herself stronger than expected. She volunteered at the shelter, made new friends, and prayed in her own way. "Help me stay decent. Help me stay brave." When fear came at 3 a.m., she wrote it down and left it on paper where it couldn't hurt her. One afternoon, Tom left another voicemail. "Sarah, I know your lawyer is filling your head with nonsense. This doesn't have to be ugly. We could settle. Think about what people will say when they hear how cold you've been. Meet me at Frank's bar at 6. Be reasonable." She deleted it and kept walking. The court date arrived on a Monday. The courthouse in downtown Phoenix looked imposing. Tall steps, heavy doors, flags snapping in the hot wind. Sarah wore a simple navy dress and low heels. Linda met her with a reassuring hug. "You ready?" Linda asked. "As ready as I'll be," Sarah said. In the hallway, Tom waited with his lawyer. He wore that same expensive shirt. He watched Sarah like a predator sizing up prey. They filed into the courtroom. The judge took the bench, papers shuffled, names were called. Tom's lawyer spoke first, voice smooth, painting a picture of a devoted husband who supported his wife while she pursued personal interests, making it sound like luxury and laziness. Sarah's jaw tightened. Linda squeezed her wrist once, a quiet signal of support. Then Linda stood. She spoke clearly and calmly. She presented dates, texts, evidence of the affair, the separation timeline, and the motel receipt. She included the threatening voicemail. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't need to. She handed up documentation and sat down. Sarah felt something settle in her chest. Not triumph yet, but a sense that truth had finally entered the room. Tom stared across the aisle and mouthed half, like a threat. Sarah looked right back at him with steady eyes and mouthed one word. "No." The judge reviewed the documents in silence. After what felt like an eternity, he spoke. "I've reviewed the evidence presented by both parties. The timeline is clear. Ms. Chun was effectively separated from the marriage before the lottery ticket was purchased. The separation was initiated by Mr. Chun through documented threats and explicit demands that she leave. Arizona law recognizes equitable distribution, but equity requires consideration of conduct and circumstances." The judge looked directly at Tom. "Mr. Chun, your own messages and behavior demonstrate that you terminated this marriage before any winnings occurred. Your claim has no legal merit." He turned to Sarah. "Ms. Chun, the lottery winnings are yours alone. This court finds no basis for Mr. Chen's claim." The gavel came down with a sharp crack. Sarah's breath left her body. Linda grabbed her hand and squeezed. "It's over," she whispered. "You won." Tom's face went red, then white. His lawyer packed papers quickly. Tom stood, staring at Sarah one last time with something between rage and disbelief. Then he turned and walked out. Sarah sat still for a long moment, feeling the weight lift from her shoulders, the weight she'd carried since that rainy night when a crumpled $50 bill landed at her feet. Outside the courthouse, the Phoenix sun blazed overhead. Linda walked Sarah to her car. "What will you do now?" Linda asked. Sarah smiled, a real smile this time. "I'm going to build a life. A good one. I'll donate to the women's shelter, maybe start a small graphic design business, help other women get back on their feet. I'll be careful with the money, but I won't let fear run my life." "That sounds perfect," Linda said. Sarah drove home slowly, windows down, hot desert air in her hair. When she got to her apartment, she pulled out a yellow notepad and wrote at the top, "Things I know now." She wrote, "My worth isn't determined by someone else's cruelty. Rock bottom can be a foundation, not an ending. $50 can change a life if you're brave enough to believe in yourself. Justice exists even when it takes time. I'm stronger than I ever knew." She set the pen down and looked around her small apartment, the one she'd rented with her own money, filled with her own choices, built on her own terms. Tom had thrown her away with $50, thinking it was an ending. He was wrong. It was her beginning. Thank you so much for reading Sarah's story. If this inspired you, please subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Tell us in the comments, what would you do with a second chance? Your stories matter, and we love hearing from you. See you in the next video.